Good evening and welcome back. Last time I recorded a video, I think I'd had too many gin and tonics and I made a complete botch of a beacon build. So let's try and do it a bit better today. This is the standard building with a strip type build. So we have a line of beacons at the top and a line of beacons at the bottom, and then up to two spaces above and below the machine where you can put inserters and power. We could have dropped this down too and put power poles above. That would be a bit awkward trying to get another row of assemblers in because there's no room in this build for power poles to go in below the assemblers and amongst the inserters. We have one incoming and two outgoing per machine for this build. Because it makes twice the amount of wire that it consumes cable. Okay, so this build is sort of alright, and if we look at production, this is making 27.7k of coil. Okay, so let's look at the iron bar, which I really mucked up. Here we are, so this is a mess. So what we're going to do today is fix this and see what that does to the performance. So this build is wrong. So let's see if we can do it right. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to take a blueprint of one of these. Okay, what we should have done was build a box of beacons. Like that. Okay. The materials are coming very slowly because I'm using standard construction bots rather than the super duper ones. Right, and there's enough room in this to put in a substation by the side. And that's basically working. So what we're missing now is the remaining items. Let's see if we can, oh, there's some, probably the easiest thing is to dump some into this storage chest. Okay, there we are. Yeah, that's being picked up now. Okay. Wait for the remaining speed beacons to be put in. And we're there. So this thing is running at plus 540%, 40% production, 16 event sources. There we are. So this one I think is running roughly right. Let's have a look. Okay. What I'm going to do is kill this off because it's wrong, and then we'll have a go at rebuilding this better. Okay, so let's basically take it all away. Anyway, that's got rid of the production. It'll unbuild itself in good time. So this is making lots of stuff. If we look at the production here, so whereas the totally vanilla wood builder, if you remember, that was just the wood building machine without any beacons or modules. So that's making 300 a minute. This is making, let's let this go off the end of the graph because we've still got the old production in there. Right, we're nearly there. In fact, if we go to the 5 seconds, so this is making about 2.6k a minute, just this one machine. Okay. I'm wondering how much this could be improved. So let's power this differently for now. We'll think about how to power it properly in a minute. So there's room here for more inputs and more outputs. So if you remember last time we learned that we needed 2 stack inserters to get rid of stuff from this build because it got bottlenecked. So let's look. Right, so this is 2.6K, fairly stable. Yeah, fairly stable. So just to test this out, I'm going to add more requesters and providers. All right. Really hard finding the mouse in amongst all this mess. So we were on 2.6. We've added an extra incoming and an extra outgoing, and it is still on 2.6. So it's not bottlenecked by not having more incoming or outgoing materials. So these are extra to surplus to requirement. Let's get rid of them. There we are. Okay, so we can put this substation inside if we wanted. I'll deal with that in a minute. Let's get rid of that and that. Okay, so what we'll do is take a blueprint of this unit. There we are. And while this is deconstructing, this I believe is 15 long. Let's check. Yeah, that's 15 long. And each of these has 8 speed beacons around it. This has 12 speed beacons around it. So 10 of these should produce the equivalent production of 15 of these. Let's see if they actually do. Okay. We're just waiting for some boxes to be emptied. Oh, and I haven't got rid of those power poles at the bottom. Let's just get a hold of those. There we are, that's the power poles. Okay. So that's our unit. Going to be quicker to get rid of them manually. Okay. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I should move that over like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember we were going for 10. 6, 7, 8. That actually fits even with things being... Okay, that really doesn't. And my inventory is full, so I'm going to dump some of it out. There we are. Okay. Okay. Now we have some construction bots. All the construction bots seem tied up with emptying these chests. There we are. Okay. So if we put a substation there, I think that powers a lot of stuff. And we can put another one there. And then we need one right where that drone port is. So for the sake of now, we'll just put a couple there. Okay. So this appears to be building away. And let's look at productivity. So productivity at the moment is 27 point something for the coils and high 26s for iron bars. And they're holding pretty stable, but they're not quite level with one another. You can see they're coming up. Okay, so why aren't they quite there? Let's hover over this. So there's 300 and odd logistics bots spare. There's 700 in total for this. And for this one, we have 300 and odd versus 850. Okay, so they both have adequate extra logistics bots. That's probably not the problem. Lots of them hovering around charging. So maybe more drone ports. Let's just look at productivity again. Okay, so we have 27 point something, 27.6 versus 26.8. And they're pretty close, but they should be identical. Okay, lots more drone ports. See if it was a charging problem. So it's still 26.8. And this one is still 27 point something. There are drones charging here, but they don't seem to be haloing. Well, there are a bit. Okay. Maybe that will help. No, so stubbornly, the iron bars are ever so slightly less production than the copper coil. So the options are, maybe that's genuine. Maybe I've done something wrong again. Let's see if there's anything obvious here. So, everything is powered. There don't appear to be any missing inserters. The drones aren't particularly hanging around, getting lost. And have I mucked anything up obvious? Well, the difference is very small, but there is a difference, which is kind of odd. Anyway, let's see what else we can say about these two builds. So let's nuke that just so that there's no possibility of it causing any confusion. Yep, it's definitely only the wood running here. We definitely have 15 machines running here. Okay, so this build uses 15 machines. And is producing essentially the same output as these 10 machines. The 10 machines using a lot more beacons. So let's have a look at the power usage. So this one is it's using about 90 megawatts. So it fluctuates a bit because of drone charging. Let's up that Yeah, so around about the 90 megawatt mark. And the drone ports are the things that fluctuate. They go up and down. Okay. This build, let's see if I can find a... There we are. This is using about 80 megawatts. So it's about 10 megawatt cheaper, which is interesting, than this one. Oh no, this is using about 80 now. Seems to jump around a bit. So these are using about the same power as each other, which is interesting. So then there's the question of footprint. So let's just take the footprint of the building area. The strip at the bottom that has your drone ports and everything in it is kind of a one-off cost. Okay, so this is packing it in just over half the space. All right, so you could fit 2 lots of these maker strips into the space for one of these. And if we were using a different recipe where we could fit extra power poles in rather than needing to use substations, we could fit in possibly 2.5 of these builds into the other space. And at some point that would start to add up with drone travel distance. So I think on balance this strip build is probably better than this grid build. It uses fewer assemblers here, but I'm not convinced that it's actually... something's wrong here. These are starting to back up. Almost like they don't have enough logistics drones to empty them. Or maybe the problem is that there aren't enough chests to accept the material. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, so we've added twice the number of requester chests. Well, that's just boiling, isn't it? Now how are we doing for... now the logistics bots are right down at sort of 50 spare. Let's give this a chance to equilibrate out. Back up here. So everything here is green. Let's just put the mouse over one of these. So these chests are not... Yeah, they're not filling up. They're being kept empty with 12 requesting chests. Sorry, whereas these are having trouble keeping up. Right. And there's only a few logistics bots spare. I reckon if we put in some more logistics bots, things may improve. All right, let's have a look here. So yeah, that has 24k production. Let's have a look. Let's add more logistics bots. For now, I'm just going to dump in lots. Okay, we can sort out proper numbers later. All right, so now we have over 250-ish spare bots. And what's going on over here? So this machine is full, but nothing seems to be requesting the product. It's got its 480 requested, but nothing seems to be collecting it. So I wonder, what happens if we kill those off and put down new requester chest? Maybe it's just something's gone a bit buggy. Okay. Yeah, so I think something was just a bit buggy there with the requesting. Maybe that was what was giving us trouble earlier with the... Let's have a look. So productivity now is 26.8 versus 27.8. So we're losing 1k somewhere on this build. We've got plenty of requester chests now. Nothing is starved, nothing's going red. And this build, everything seems to be very green. These chests are not filling up. This has plenty of material. So I think, yeah, that's all fairly happy. Let's have a look down here once more. This all appears to be behaving itself. So this is using about 550 logistics bots. And this is using 765, about the same, 500 logistics bots. So I'm wondering, the next thing to do would be to look at, and I'm just going to double check power usage again. So this is using up to 80 megawatts, 79 point something, 80 megawatt. And this is using 96, 97 megawatt. So this is a substantially more power use, so up to 100 megawatt. And I think that's now that we've got enough drones in to support everything. Put this over a bit longer time. Yeah, so this build seems to be higher energy, and I'm guessing that's because all the a mixture of the beacons and the drones seem to be a bit more going mental. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is mock something up where we can really control the number of drones in the build. So what I'm going to do is take away all these drone ports down at the bottom. And in doing so, I will take away the drones which are roosted within them. Okay, we've only got 50 or 60 logistics bots left, and that's not many, particularly given how many we know we need to run this. So let's put the drone ports back. That's outside power. Right, try again. Okay, so that should be a sufficient number of drone ports. I'm already up to 600. Where did they all come from? Well, anyway, it doesn't have enough because it's bottomed out. So if we look at productivity here, 26.8k with that many drones. And what happens if we put in another 100 drones? So it's still down there at sort of 50 free drones. And still 26.8 production. So for this build, it doesn't look like having too few drones is making a massive difference. Let's put another 100 in. Okay, so now we actually have 150 idle drones. And still 26.8k. So for this, it looks like you can run your drones pretty much at zero sum and it'll work. So we needed, let's just double check. Yeah, so we needed about 650 drones to make this work. Okay, so this is currently using 350 of 850 drones. So that's 765, so about 500 drones. So 500 versus 650. So this is marginally nicer on the number of drones you need. So this build is less power, you need to make less modules, and you need fewer drones to run it, and it fits into a smaller space, and it produces, give or take, the same output of this. So I'm going to declare this naive strippy build the winner. All right, thanks very much. Hopefully I've undone the mistakes of last time. Those are the two builds. If you have a different way of arranging modules and beacons for this kind of thing, then I'm all ears. Please do let me know. Thank you.